Like everyone wants to help people, everyone wants to inspire
Right.
people, everyone. But when you have to like really know the details of it in your head, because that's sort of the anchoring thing that keeps you going through the storms.
What's happening, you talented people? I'm Sam DeZeo, spelled exactly like it sounds. At least in the handle, that is. And on this channel, we focus on helping the small creators cut through the big noise so they can share their message. And so many people, when they get started on YouTube, they think that when they start uploading, thousands of people, or at least hundreds of people, are going to be flocking towards their videos. And while most people actually would never admit that, or they would never say that, and they probably don't even think that they think that, we're also disappointed when our first 10 videos gets around 10 views, and only 5 of those is from our mom and our mom's best friends. And trust me, I get it. I've been on this YouTube platform for 10 years, and I have quit my YouTube journey 3 times. 3 times in 10 years, I've said I'm done with this. It is one of the most rewarding things that I've ever done, but it's also one of the most challenging. So if you're kind of at that point where you're like,
I'm getting so frustrated, I don't even know if this is worth the time and the energy and the effort that I'm putting into these videos, no one's seeing them.
Well, the question then is, how do we get through those storms without sinking the boat? Well, that's what my buddy Eric and I were talking on a very recent call that we had, and this video is kind of jumping in the middle of a conversation that we were having about my channel, and this is a full hour-long conversation that I got so much value out of. I got so much value out of this hour-long call, and I wanted to share that with you. So if you want access to this hour-long call, I'm putting the entire thing uncut down on Patreon. If you want to check that out, go to patreon.com/SamDeZeo, spelled exactly like it sounds, and you can check out the whole hour-long conversation. Anyway, let's dive into that conversation, and just for a little context, Eric, he thinks very, very deeply, and that's what I was asking about. Let's jump to watch the conversation.
Like, is that how your brain works? Like, you're constantly, like, breaking everything apart into, like, tiny little bits? Or, like, do you have to turn that on?
No, that's my natural state. I have to sort of like turn that off, actually. No, actually I can't. It's really fun to pick apart things into tiny pieces, because you always want to figure out like, okay, here's 2 oranges that look exactly the same. They're 99% similar. But maybe if we picked it apart and like really looked at it in detail, we could figure out that 1%, so we could like separate it and learn more about it. It's not always like, oh, everything needs to be splintered apart. It's more, how can we learn more about this? And my favorite way of learning more about it is by like seeing weighing things against each other. And
My brain doesn't think like that. I do overthink things, but I think in a different way. Like, you analyze and break down. I'm constantly like overthinking the same thing in my head until it drives me insane. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. What's your version of overthinking?
I think when I get excited about something, it consumes everything. Like, to where I'm not thinking about anything else. So
Okay. But that could be a good thing.
it could be, until it's not.
Yeah.
Until it's unhealthy, and it's like when I should be enjoying life with my wife, or just, you know, being on a bike ride, I'm thinking about this thing that I just got excited about a month ago, you know? Like, I don't know how to shut off.
Okay, let's pause here for just a second. I want to know, like, does any of that sound familiar to you? Like, is it so hard to shut your brain off when you're so excited about the next video and what's coming up for your YouTube channel? Like, is it hard to just shut that part of your brain off like it is for me? And I don't know, maybe you do feel like you're kind of in this overthinking spiral where you feel like you've got 100 different things that you need to accomplish for your YouTube channel, and if you slow down, it'll stop your channel from growing. So if your channel's not growing, then you feel like you're wasting time. Eric actually gave me a few practical tips and different mindset strategies to kind of combat that a little bit.
I mean, in terms of your thinking in proportion to action, how would you say your ratio is? I actually feel bad / unwell if I am not executing within probably about 3 days. And it's like, I'm like, oh, this is the exact right thing I should be doing. And then I have like another exact right thing I should be doing. And then I'm like weighing them against each other. And then I'm like, oh, it would be so cool if I blah, blah. Oh, wait, why am I not doing that? Oh, it's because of my blah, blah, blah. It's like, it just goes all over the place. But the way I get out of that is by actually doing something, is by just taking that first little step and being like, okay, most of the things I want are on the other side of me, at least starting in this direction. So how can I just do that first baby step? And now that I've trained myself to do that more often, that's my only way really around the overthinking thing, because now I have like progress and action steps and I feel like I'm getting somewhere instead of just my head theorizing about every situation, alternate universe where I'm, doing all these things I'm not doing.
And did you see my sabotage video where I talked about how I sabotaged my own channel?
Yes, I did.
Twice. So you basically already know my story, but I think that's like this cycle that I'm always on is I get so excited about this one thing and I go for it and it just consumes my life, and then I get tired of it and burnt out, and this thing that was a hobby now I dislike and it's unhealthy, and that's bad. I've got to get rid of it. So therefore I quit twice, like I talked about in the story. So I think that's even right now something I'm trying to work on is like I'm back in this YouTube game. I'm excited about it and I love creating content, like I legitimately do, but how do I make that sustainable in the sense that like I don't make myself hate it again?
I believe that if you are burning out or feeling dissatisfied, a lot of times it comes down to a purpose problem. Like everyone wants to help people, everyone wants to inspire people, but when you have to like really know the details of it in your head, because that's sort of the anchoring thing that keeps you going through the storms or the natural ups and downs of life. You have a faith background, right? Yeah. So it's a similar idea. Like when you know your bigger purpose, and what you're doing it ultimately for, then it gives you peace in some of these like naturally very hard environments, but you need to know. It can't just be like positive thinking. No, that's not really what it is. You have to actually know. So I find it very similar.
So one of the most important parts of avoiding burnout is knowing who you want to serve and why. And why is the big thing there. Why is it that you are so passionate about serving that person? And for me, that person is the small YouTube creator out there, because I know what that's like. I know what those frustrations and ultimately quitting is like, and I don't want that for anybody. And like I said, I quit my YouTube channel 3 times, and I did it to myself. I can't blame anyone but myself, and I don't want you to sabotage your channel in the same way that I did. So to hear that full story, make sure to click right here. And to get the full hour-long conversation between me and Eric, make sure to go right here at patreon.com/SamDeZeo. We'll see you in the next video.